what you think about the issues of the world. What kind of spice you wanna be? Tell me where you wanna travel. Do you believe in luxury? What's your hidden passion? What makes you so unique? Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole.
Good morning. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. I am Nicole Everett, your host. And today we are talking about the Leon County Cares Program. The Leon County Cares Program, they have COVID relief funds for small businesses. So this is the Small Business Assistance Program. And we have Mr. Richard Fetchick of the Tallahassee Leon Office of Economic Vitality. So welcome, Richard, with me. Yay!
Hey, Nicole, it is a treat to be on your show this morning. Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. I'm so glad you're here to talk to the folks about the small business assistance that the Leon County Cares Program is offering. So we have lots of folks chiming in. I want to invite you all to like and share this post. Tell all your people who have small businesses here in Leon County that there's help available for them if they were impacted by COVID-19. And bring your questions. Richard is here to answer your questions and get you straight as it relates to the assistance. So before we get started with the assistance piece, my Conversations with Nicole style is to get to know my guests a little bit better. So Richard, if you will, tell the folks where you're from, what you do, and who you are, a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much, Nicole. It's very exciting to be on the show and to have this dimension. We care about our local businesses and helping y'all. So I hope that my personal aspect lends a little bit to it that isn't just boredom.
Not at all.
I'm a huge fan of this city and county, and I've lived here now for 8 years. I think that all told, I'm a pretty usual story. I came for the education, enrolled at Florida State for my master's degree 10 years ago. That's right. I love every school, but I am a Knoll alumnus, and after serving Peace Corps, came back and have worked in state, regional, and now local government ever since. So it's been very special. I always wanted to work for our community. I've seen communities throughout the state, tiny and large, Stewart, Frostproof, if you believe that's a real place. And I always said, I live in Tallahassee. This is where I want to be. So started with the Economic Development Department 2019 February, and it has been a fun ride ever since.
Nice. Now, where are you from originally?
Well, I grew up in Texas.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, that's actually part of the fun. I always used to come to Florida. My family grew up here from Vero Beach and Jacksonville.
Gotcha.
And, I thought I wore the big boots. I would come to Florida and say, what is this place? But as with all things in life, it had a curveball in store for me. So coming to Tallahassee, I have since completely reversed my opinion. I go back to Texas. I say, what is this place?
This place, right.
The quality of life in Tallahassee is fantastic. I actually walk to work downtown from an apartment here. And I love our quality of place. And everyone is so smart in Tallahassee.
Right.
Anywho, not a dig on Texas. I still have a lot of heart and family there, but yeah, came from there originally.
Gotcha. So what do you do at OEV?
Well, I guess the way I would describe it in one way is I try to be as engaged in everything we do to add value. I'm the business intelligence manager. So we, our data scientist, Dan Lucas, and I gather and present data information.
Okay.
Our employment, that's unemployment. That's 80 indicators plus that tell people the story of our city, county, and MSA. But in addition to that, we have a lot going on, and that's, obviously today here to talk about CARES. There's business funding from the federal government. And so Christina, our director, tasked me with helping to administer that so we could get funds out into the community. So really kind of a multi-faceted role, and I'm glad to be in it.
Awesome. Well, glad to have you, and thank you for what OEV does, for Tallahassee and Leon County and keeping us abreast of the economic development here. So let's jump in. Leon County Cares. So these funds were launched on August 17th, and there's a component that gives funds to small businesses. So tell the folks, how you become eligible as a small business to have access to these funds.
That's right. You're spot on, Nicole. And a little birdie told me that we've had some other guests in the know on the program. Christina came before, and so the information is largely the same, and we want everyone to know it. So just to touch on it again, COVID has made 2020 a pretty exciting year. It made us all Zoom experts, and I thank you for the consulting, even making my online presence better, Nicole. Essentially, Leon County said, we've had business impacts. They're suffering revenue losses. We need to help. And so $7.5 million at this point appropriated for that business assistance. Now you say, okay, Richard, what do I need to do? Well, it's leoncountycares.org, the website. Get over to that website, and what it's going to have you do is create a username and a login.
Okay.
And from there, you apply, and we have to comply with federal requirements for how we spend the money, being good stewards of the public dollar. And so essentially you need to show that COVID impacted your business.
Right.
Documentation, I can bore everybody with the details, but document that COVID impacted your revenue or your expenses, show that you're Leon County based, show that you have employees that you're claiming, or if not, you can be a sole proprietor.
Okay.
And essentially walk through that online application. Okay. And if you do have those impacts, as well as some supplementals that we can talk about, you are eligible for that grant funding. It runs from $2,000 to up to, I believe, $8,500, but I'm gonna have to work that out.
And that is dependent upon the number of employees you have.
That's correct. That's correct, Nicole. It's tiered by employment. So 1 to 10 is our baseline eligibility of 2,000, and then 11 to 24, 3,000, 25 to 49, 5,000, and then 50 to 100, 6,000.
Okay, very good. So we have a question on the floor from Mr. Terrence L. Barber. He wants to know, how long does the process generally take after application is submitted? Thank you, Terrence.
Great. Well, good morning, Mr. Barber. Thank you so much for the question. Okay. Right now, I'm going to answer this in a little bit of a round fashion, but we have awarded $763,500 of grants as of today. Yes, it has definitely picked up. We're past $750,000, and so you can see we're 3 weeks in, and there has been a lot of churn. Okay. Typically, what we're seeing is that once you get it to submitted, then we have an external reviewer go through it to ensure that the review process is objective and thorough. Okay. And that's been going anywhere from a single day, if somebody swishes it first try. If they have all their documentation, they say, hey, I'm Richard, I'm one employee, here's all my stuff from my W-9 to my SS4, et cetera, profit and loss statement. It can be done in a single day. Okay. But typically we see closer to a week and a half for that review process.
Okay, that's helpful. So I don't know who the great person is at OEV that's helping us out, but thank you, whoever you are. To apply, verify program eligibility, and receive assistance, visit the Leon Cares portal, which is the leoncountycares.com. So get that website in your brain, leoncountycares.com, leoncountycares.com, because that is the place you want to go to get all of the information for not only the small business assistance, but the other aspects of the Leon Cares program.
That's right. You make a great point, Nicole. It's a lot of fun getting to speak to you here, and I think a small part of me would enjoy doing this for 8 hours a day. But we are around even when we're not on Facebook Live, and so you can call our office, and we have the Chambers of Commerce, Capital City Chamber, Big Bend Minority Chamber, and Greater Tallahassee Chamber offering technical assistance, helping folks to assemble their documentation and get through the pipeline, if you will. So we're always available to help and point you in the right direction.
Which is great. Now, do you know what the total amount allocated to small businesses is in terms of what the whole pot is?
Yes, right now it is $7.5 million. And the way we arrived at that is Leon County was given a large appropriation through federal CARES disbursements via the state. Right. And actually OEV staff looked into our number of businesses by employees and what we expected the need would be. And we made an estimate that around 3,000 might need that assistance, average amount based on what I mentioned, and came up with something around that 7.5. That was informed by our CEDAR grant. So CEDAR grant for Tallahassee, Leon County was one of the first local responses in the US to say, we understand that this is a cash flow problem for businesses. And we set up our own in-house grant application, if you recall, back in late March, early April. Yes. And went through the funds in basically 12 days, not even business days. And so, we took into account a lot. How many businesses are there in Tallahassee? How many employees do they have? What do we expect their needs going to be based on the sector they're in? Are they restaurants or are they engineering firms? And we came up with that estimate. Now, what I will say, I think that we have made it through at this phase the hardest patch. Or at least the worry, that real fear of what is this and what is it going to do to us? There are required closures. We've come out of that. And so from CEDAR, we're seeing that our businesses have in many cases been very resilient.
That's great. So I'm glad you mentioned CEDAR because I want folks to understand, at least this is what I was previously told, that if you receive CEDAR funds, it does not make you ineligible for these new care funds.
Certainly. Okay. We recognize that this is a very bizarre economic disruption, right? This pandemic just stretches on and on. It's not a hurricane. And so CEDAR was then, the COVID-19 economic disaster relief. Okay, great. Then Paycheck Protection Program. That's your Small Business Administration forgivable loans. That has been a huge help and assistance.
It has.
Well, here we are at this wave. And if your business is still hurting, still experiencing over 25% revenue loss or expense increase of 25% for say that PPE, hand sanitizer, et cetera, then guess what? Apply again. Yeah. CEDAR is not qualifying.
Yeah. So just again, want to make sure you all understand that it's not just that you've received a loss. Small businesses have had a 25% loss, but you maybe had a 25% increase in expenditure because now you've had to, get the mask or shields or hand sanitizer or, other things to become COVID compliant, if you will. So, just want you to understand that it is it could be that you've had more of an expenditure to make yourself kind of COVID safe, if you will, but also if you've experienced a loss and that if you applied for other funding in the past, you are still eligible to receive additional funding for now. So that's again, a point that I just want to reiterate because some folks might feel like, well, since I got money before, I can't get it, get this money, but you can. you are eligible.
Yeah, that's spot on, Nicole. And I'll tell you, for the businesses that are being compliant with those CDC guidelines, we thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We're just as serious as anyone else about, caring that our economy gets up and running. But I think this is part of the excitement of the business cycle, is never knowing what's coming next. And you really have these amazing improvisation going on with businesses. So you're right. You see some balance sheets. If I'm a consultant in my house, my revenue might have dropped 50%, but so did my costs.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, businesses like restaurants who want to offer that experience of dining out, which we love, have gone to amazing lengths. You see the plexiglass all over the place. You see
Right.
25% capacity everywhere. You see outdoor seating, which we're getting there. Tallahassee, give it 2 more months and al fresco dining will be great again.
Right.
You see these heroic efforts. And so for those businesses caught in the perfect storm, so to speak, of rising costs and falling revenues, there's also a category called hardest hit.
Okay.
So on Leon Cares SBA grant, we call it SBA, just stands for Small Business Assistance in this case.
Mm-hmm.
It's a $500 additional supplemental amount above your baseline by employment. Okay. And that's saying, hey, we know that you've purchased a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've suffered a 50% expense increase or revenue decline, that supplement is for you.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So are there any other supplements that are available to some other groups or populations?
Absolutely, yeah. And in this respect, Leon County is pretty unique among its peers in Florida. We're always trying to benchmark and assess what every county in Florida is doing, all 66 others, right? There's 67 of us in this. At least we know that we're all going through this hurricane pandemic together.
Right.
So the other 2 supplemental awards, which are unique, are you a minority or women-owned business that is certified with either Office of Economic Vitality or Office of Supplier Diversity? That's at the state. We have a reciprocal relationship. Show proof of that, or that you applied for that certification.
Okay.
And so that actually comes with a $1,500 supplemental award.
Okay. Wow.
So yeah, we're committed to helping our women-owned and minority business enterprises. When OEB did surveys of the state of the economy for our businesses, there were 3 from April through late June.
Mm-hmm.
We did show a disproportionate hit to women-owned and minority-owned businesses.
Okay.
And so we're saying, let's close that gap, $1,500 just for that certification.
Awesome. So another $1,500 on top of the primary assistance that's provided. That's, again, good to know. Good to know.
I liked it. I don't want to be popular for giving out money in the time of a disaster, but I can't be totally downtrodden for saying that, yes, we have money and we want to make it available to businesses. You asked me about the one other supplemental. So there's hardest hit. Are you in accommodation, food services, other services, and have over 50% revenue loss or expense increase?
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, are you a minority or women-owned business that can show proof of certification or application? Okay. And number 3 is rebounding. So this is kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
We want to acknowledge that there are businesses that say, we're getting back started. We're revving back up. We are hiring 2 or more employees already. Mm-hmm. And if you can document that you have made 2 or more hires since March 16th to come back, then that is accompanied by a $500 supplemental award as well.
Wow. So again, a number of ways to, kind of offset maybe some loss that has taken place as a result of the pandemic, and to, help people during this difficult time. So I'm again really glad and excited to hear about that. I don't think I heard about that rebounding one before, so that's good information.
Yeah, no, I we like to think that, again, a lot of the ingenuity of business are those pivots. I mean, I marvel. I'm amazed all the time at seeing how businesses adapt, and just thinking, gosh, if my job were changing that fast all the time, what would I be? What migraine medicines would I be on? So it's truly amazing. And we saw, our breweries going to hand sanitizer and disinfectants. We saw other companies start to create hand sanitizers and manufacture PPE. And signage exploded, showing, how are we open in this new world? Do we offer takeout? Do we offer outside seating? How are we interacting with folks? So another interesting thing about our surveys was, how are you pivoting? You're right. That supplemental is to say, this is just our little indicator you are doing that, but it's so much more. People that what do they say? 10 years and 90 days is like the change we've undergone. And people that never wanted to touch a computer or online advertising are teaching themselves. And so that's another big element of the change, is that the digital economy is stronger than ever.
Yeah.
And we want to see our businesses get on that.
So I think I've not heard the word pivot so much in all of my days, but we definitely
new one.
we definitely have had to pivot across our lives, I think. So, just understanding that in order to remain relevant, in order to, generate some income, maybe from a different way than you were previously, you got to be able to make those changes. And I think as entrepreneurs and small businesses, I think we probably get that more than anything in any other entity, because we're in it. We're grinding and hustling it out every day, each and every day, with small teams or individually. So yeah, all of this is, again, just I'm just very grateful that this program is out here and these supplemental funds are out here for folks to try to sustain themselves.
And I'll tell you what, too, Nicole, I no shade to Texas, but Tallahassee has a really strong economy. And what I mean by that is we're not a boom and bust. We tend to experience more gradual, and I'll call it gentle. I mean, I don't want to diminish what anyone feels who's suffering from unemployment or business closure, but we have a strong state government employment. We have strong universities, and we have a growing private sector. Over the past 5 years, our share of gross regional product, our local GDP from private sector has grown over 5%. And it's crossed the 70% line. And so it's just a really, pretty active little local economy. We have tons of, again, like I said, we're a very smart city. We have scientists, we have biologists, we have lawyers, we have engineers, we have planners, which I am by training. So we have a lot of professionals, and that creates the environment for innovation. And we also are growing our manufacturing and our healthcare as well. So these are sectors that weather storms, and they employ a broad, spectrum of talent ranges on the career pipeline. You can go into healthcare with food service and learn really specific skills all the way up to, cardiovascular surgeon. So we have strengths. Our target industries are healthcare, applied sciences, manufacturing, transportation, logistics, and professional services. And, I'm pretty confident that those will continue to help us to weather economic shocks for years to come too.
Spoken like a true data manager. Look, the OEB folks think you are great as well. Business intelligence manager. And we just got a little taste of it just now. So thank you for sharing that information about all of those different business sectors. But, you're right. I agree. I think, Tallahassee is growing in many respects. And there's room for you to do a number of things. I always say that Tallahassee is such a great training ground for whatever it is you're interested in getting involved in. And it doesn't take a long time in order to do it, because we're kind of a small big city of sorts.
We are. I mean, in the whole area, right? I mean, we are the metropolitan center for South Georgia and a lot of the Panhandle.
Yeah.
We surpassed Alachua and St. John's as the county with the highest percentage of persons with a bachelor's degree or higher in 2019 at 45%.
Yeah.
So talent is never a problem in this city.
Yeah.
And I'm amazed by our workforce partners: TCC, Lively Technical, Florida A&M, FSU, and beyond are so responsive. And so coming out of this, the grant is important.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to get those dollars out into the community.
Mm-hmm.
And people can talk to us or the chambers about it. And yet I'm excited for 2021 and beyond as well, because we do have a lot of great startups and prospects for expanding business. So yeah, watch out, Madison, Wisconsin's, and Durham, Chapel Hills. We're definitely a powerhouse in the making.
Indeed. So just to recap, folks can go to the LeonCountyCares.com website. In fact, I'm going to pull it back up because our OEV magic hands has typed it in for us. So go to the portal, get the information, and apply. And if you need some assistance with that, you can reach out to the OEV office. You can reach out to the chambers to get technical assistance as it relates to applying for these funds.
You said it.
Okay, very good. Anything else you wish to share in closing, Richard?
Oh gosh, it's been so fun. It's already over.
Yes.
I'm bummed. Now I have to go back to the day as usual. Well, it's been a real pleasure, Nicole. We're a tight-knit community, so it's again, like I said, a real treat to get to spread the good word to everyone here. I'm confident that if your business needs help right now due to COVID,
mm-hmm.
and it can show that, we are going to work with you to get the documentation, to get through this application and get that funding so that we can make it to 2021 when hopefully things will kick back up. So I think the information is out there. I won't be too redundant, but maybe after 100 more exciting guests, you'll let me back.
Absolutely. I don't have to have 100 more, but look, maybe you could come back and tell us about the success of the program. We still have millions to spend. So please do apply and spread the word. Share this video, get the word out to the small business owners that you know here in Leon County, and let them know that there's money out here to help them stay alive. So, yeah. All right. Appreciate you, Richard. And we'll see y'all next time.
That's great. Thank you so much, Nicole.
You're welcome.